Shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the Akim out there, spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. Alright, I'm going to title this video, More Predictive Programming Movies Coming. Hold on, Akim. Hold on, Akim. Why, any Aquas that may be watching this video. You got Leave the World Behind, which just came out. And it was a predictive programming movie about a cyber attack on Babylon, right? On the cell phone networks and yeah, on the cell phone networks, on the TV, on the TV, whatever, on the satellites, and there was an attack on the satellites as well as an attack on whatever, I forgot what it's called. Give a signal to the TVs so they work. So there was no TV either. And then later on, a spoiler alert, by the way. Later on, there is an attack on. There was a microwave attack, a microwave sonic boom attack. So there was these different attacks on Babylon, and basically it's predictive programming because they've been telling us that Russia and now China and Iran have been launching cyber attacks at different parts of Babylon. And there was something called a cyber polygon. Look that up. I'm about to play this trailer, this clip from Leave the World Behind, and this trailer of Civil War 2024, uploaded by this brother Yasharallah Malkaya. And hey, you're gonna see, like he said, the writing is on the wall. Oh yeah, and copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976 allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by scholarship statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and play it. I'm making the same copyright disclaimer, YouTube.
Because my primary client works in the defense sector, I spent a lot of time studying the cost-benefit analysis of military campaigns. There was one program in particular that terrified my client the most. A simple 3-step
keep in mind, they're all about order ad chaos.
Isolation. Disable their communication and transportation. Make the target as deaf, dumb, and paralyzed as possible, setting them up for the second stage. Synchronized chaos. Terrorize them with covert attacks and disinformation. Overwhelming their defense capabilities, leaving their weapons systems vulnerable to extremists in their own military. Without a clear enemy or motive, people would start turning on each other.
Hold up, didn't they talk about extremists in the military that was trying to overthrow the U.S. government?
Done successfully, third stage would happen on its own. What's the third stage? A coup d'etat. Civil war. Collapse. This program was considered the most cost-effective way to destabilize a country. Because if the target nation was dysfunctional enough, it would, in essence, do the work for you.
And in the next clip, they're gonna show the Civil War part of basically Jacob's trouble that's about to hit, because Jakes are gonna get caught up in this Civil War. You tribes, you so-called black people, Latinos, and Native Americans, and you Israelite foreigners / speckled birds here in Babylon. Y'all gonna get caught up. 2/3. 2/3 of y'all. But let me continue.
19 states have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
Are you guys aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America?
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Citizens of America, the so-called Western forces of Texas and California have suffered a very great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens? We're moving to D.C. today.
You need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. Every instinct in me says this is death. What if...
Every time I survived the war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay? Okay. What kind of American are you? You don't know?
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Get in the car! Get in the car! You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America.
Hey, they're showing me. And that is, let me get it. That is... Isaiah 19, Slakia. Isaiah 19 and 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So the scriptures, so this is spiritual Sodom and Egypt. As I've brought out in my past videos, you know, they crossed out, where also Yahushua was crucified because they crossed out the image of the Most High Yahweh, as well as they go, well, and Yahushua, and they go against everything that he stands for. Everything that Yahushua stands for. And the Israelites are in captivity here in Babylon. Which is, again, you so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, and you Israelite foreigners looking like the other nations, aka speckled birds. But, yeah, since this is Sodom and Egypt, this prophecy applies to this place right here. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And let me also get this. 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men. I'm going to read the verse before. Verse 15, for the sword. Okay, I'm going to read the verse before. Con. Woe to the world. Verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Verse 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Oh, verse 17 is also shown. A man shall, remember that scene where they're blocked from entering into DC? A man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able. So a man shall desire to go into a city like DC and shall not be able to. That's what that showed as well. Why? Because of the Civil War. And you're going to have scenarios like that, where different factions control different areas. And so, if you're from another area, you're not going to be allowed to go into that area. So yeah, basically Esau is showing us what he's about to do, man. And that is called predictive programming. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 5, or Sirach chapter 5 verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. It means you don't be ignorant of anything in a great matter or small, because you may think it's a small matter, but it's not, man. It's really not. and they're showing us a lot of their plans, and the leave the world behind. And now in this movie that's coming up, that's called Civil War, they're showing us a lot of their plans. And let me get like, for example, there's there was a cyber attack. Yeah, the report says that in August, hackers attempted to access the computer system used by the Public Utility Commission of Texas, or the PUC, and the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, or ERCOT, which operate the state's power grid. So what could that lead to? That could lead to them saying we had to shut it down because hackers got into the system, or the hackers shut down the internet, causing blackouts, and which could very well lead to a scenario, lead to this scenario. Hold on, let me find it. The reason I'm show you why I'm getting this. Exodus 10 and 21. And Yahweh said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand towards heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. Verse 22, Moses stretched forth his hand towards heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. Verse 23, they saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days, for all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. And let me get 2nd Ezra 15 and 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, which is this place, Babylon the Great, also known as Babylon the Great, known as America today. Verse 11, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Smite Egypt with plagues as before. One of the plagues that Egypt was smitten with was the plague of darkness. And let me get in Wisdom of Solomon, let me get that. Chapter 17, it goes further into detail of what happened during the plague of darkness. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 1. For great are thy judgments and cannot be expressed, therefore unnourished souls have erred. Verse 2, for when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, they being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness, and fettered with the bonds of a long night, lay their exile from the eternal providence. Verse 13, for while they were supposed, verse 3, Salakia, for the last one was verse 2, and the verse before that was verse 1. Verse 3 though. While they were supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. Verse 4, for neither might the corner that held them keep them from fear, but noises as of waters falling down sounded about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenances. So demons were plaguing them. Troubled with strange apparitions. Verse 5, no power of the fire might give them light, neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten that horrible night. Verse 6, only there appeared to them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful, for being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight that they saw not. I'm going to scroll down to verse 21. Over them only was spread heavy night, and an image of that darkness which should afterwards receive them, but yet were they unto themselves more grievous than the darkness. Unto themselves, see that they're talking about a civil war, right? Even in that movie, Leave the World Behind, and the coup d'etat, even in that movie, Leave the World Behind, which a coup d'etat, let me show y'all what that means. Coup d'etat, a sudden, violent, and unlawful seizure of power from a government, a coup. A military coup d'etat brought down the government. What does coup d'etat mean? Literally means a stroke of state or a blow of state. And then you have the movie Civil War that's coming up. And the trailer shows the Civil War. So it's going to be all these things at once. All these things at once. You're going to have darkness plaguing certain areas of Babylon. You're going to have civil war affecting other parts of Babylon. You know, you're going to have these different plagues, famine. You know, the civil war, that sword, right? Famine. Plaguing, certain areas because of the shortages, which would be made worse by the Civil War. Certain cities under siege and shit. That's what you're gonna have. We're about to come into some. What does the scriptures say about famine? What does the scriptures say about famine? Lamentations 4 and I think verse 8. Nah, that's another one, but that's going into a whole other subject. Verse 9, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger, for these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. So they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. Yeah, because starving to death is a slow death. Slow and painful, agonizing death. You know, your body eats itself. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. And also this, just like back then, you're going to have a lot of cannibalism. You're going to have a lot of cannibalism. Verse 10, the hand of the pitiful woman have sought in their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. you know? So shit's about to get real. You know, what does it say about Jacob's trouble? And they didn't even mention the FEMA camps in those movies, man. But the FEMA camps are gonna get rolled out. You know, let me get Revelation. It would make the movie a lot. I don't know if it shows it in the movie, but it definitely didn't show it in the trailer. Let me get Revelation 2 and 10. Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Yep. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. That goes for the elect of the nation of Israel. The true Israelites, you so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, and Israelite foreigners looking like the other nations, aka speckled bird. You know, my heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. You know, pursuing the Jeremiah 12 and 9. But let me get... Oh yeah, Jeremiah 30... I might start at verse 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and our face and are turned into paleness, you know, because they're sick with fear. When you look into the word. Basically going to how you look when you're sick. And they're going to be sick with fear. Verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. There you go. None is like it. And what does it say in Matthew 24 and 21? I'm going to start. Oh, I'm going to start at verse 20. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Shabbat day. And it could be on both. Verse 21, for there shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Verse 22, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So, great tribulation such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. That's what's about to hit. That's what's about to come. And let me get Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up. The great prince will stand up for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time that people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. You know, the elect. And 2/3 are going to be put to death pursuing the Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third part shall be left therein. The third part shall be left therein, man. Verse 9. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call upon my name, and I will hear them. I will say, This is my it is my people. And they shall say, Yahweh is my power. So everyone that has written the book that's talking about the elect. You know, they that. Let me get it. Because all this is gonna lead to the enforcement of the charagma, man. All this is gonna lead to it. Revelation 15:1. I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous. 7 angels having the 7 last plagues. For in them is revealed of the wrath of the Most High Yahweh, of the Most High power Yahweh. Verse 2, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High power Yahweh. Verse 3, and they sang the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High power Yahweh, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, most Lord Yahweh Almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Verse 4, who shall not fear thee, O Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, and glorify thy name, for only thou only art holy, for all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. Slack you. So basically, the elect, that's the elect. And let me get if there's anything else to get. But a civil war would really be justification for them to take the guns from everybody that has guns so that they could force that shit upon everybody. They could force the Quran upon everybody without resistance. And that's Revelation 13 and 15. And he had power to, over 16, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, causes them, one of the definitions is prepare, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Because all this is also, at the same time, there's going to be an economic collapse, right? So, what's that new currency going to be? The CBDC, which they've already told us, Anthony Warner told us that it's going to be, the grain of rice, not a literal grain of rice, but those, the chip, but not the potato type, or the tortilla type, not the edible type for sure. Those of you who know what I mean. Which leads me to verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Verse 18, here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, it is the number of 603.6. All roads lead there, and then after that, a nuclear World War III. Well, with that, I hope this video was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the Akim out there, spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. Habab Ball, death to Babylon. Abadla Adawamium, death to these Edomites. Abadla Gawayim, death to these other nations. Abadla Yabdulnawa, death to the rest, death to our enemies, the rest of our enemies being 2/3 of you so-called black people, Latinos, Native Americans, and Israelite foreigners looking like the other nations that be of the speckled bird variety that live here in the States, as well as your wicked Israelites scattered to the four corners of the earth. Shalom, stay strong, hopeful elect, and Ababa Ball.